Hello, welcome. In this video, I'll demonstrate how to connect your Azure environment to Senha Segura via the Cloud module. First step, log into the Cloud module, search for Settings and then Accounts. This will be the screen displayed for you. It's important to know that before you try to add a Cloud account, you must make sure you are in an access group that gives you this permission. Here at Senha Segura, we already have a video that explains how to do this. Search for this material if you don't have the necessary permission yet. Now that you have the necessary permission, go to the top right corner and add an account. You can fill in the name of the account as you see fit, as it will be the account's identifier within Senha Segura. Here we have the providers. In this case, we will use Azure. And we also have the description for this account. The description is also only used within Senha Segura, so in this case I will put test for shorts. The tags will also be used for identification and segregation within Senha Segura. We use the tags Azure and Dev. When we select Azure here in the providers, notice that there is a tab up there. We'll go to this tab, and here we have a screen where we are asked for some information. Basically, we will have to create an application in Azure and grant some permissions to this application. And bring this information here so that Senha Segura can connect to your Azure environment. Here on the button here below, we can see the necessary permissions that have to be given and guaranteed so that we can connect to Senha Segura. Well, I've already copied the necessary permissions here, don't worry. We are now going to the Azure. And we are going to do this step by step. Here I'm using a free trial, just to exemplify how we can make this connection. First step, we go to Active Directory. In this side menu, we go to App Registrations. We are going to create a new application. The name of the application, Senha Segura Azure. I'll use the same name as our account in Senha Segura. Here I will leave this option unchanged, but you can change it if you need to. I'll register the application. After registering the application, we'll go to API Permissions, we'll go to Add Permissions, and we'll look for the permissions that we wrote down and that were there in Senha Segura. In this case, these permissions here. This list of permissions. Well, let's start with a delegated permission. The next ones are application permissions. Granting these permissions to this application that will be run by Senha Segura is important for the Cloud module to be able to perform services such as create service accounts, create new secrets, and access credentials. Okay, we selected all the permissions. Let's click on Add Permissions. We already have here all the permissions that are requested in Senha Segura. The next step is to click on which will grant the administrator consent for these permissions and for this directory. Click Yes. And that's it. We have solved the permissions part. The next step is to go to the certificates and secrets. Here, we will provision a secret that will be used by Senha Segura. Senha Segura, Azure. Copy the value of the secret and the next step is to go into the application overview and get the missing data. In this case, it's this data here. So we have to get the directory tenant ID. We have to get the application ID. And let's go back to that screen in Senha Segura. Well, go again. Here we are going to put the tenant ID of our application. Here, application, client ID, and the value of the client secret we have created. Once you've done that, just click on Confirm. Here, there was an error. The application credential I created does not have this permission. So let's go again to the application API permissions. And let's insert the missing permission. Organization.Read.All. Add permission. Grant the administrator consent for this directory. That's it. Let's try again. Done. Now we have our Azure environment configured to connect to Senha Segura. That was all. Thanks for watching.